Hi, hello. Thank you for coming to visit me on YouTube. If this is one of your first times checking out one of my videos, I appreciate you being here and watching and listening. My name is Carly. My pronouns are she, her. And this video is just a bit of a chat of my own musings about personalization in practice. And what I mean by that is, as a therapist, as a yoga teacher, as someone who uses Reiki with clients that I serve, I aim as much as possible to come to those modalities from both a nervous system lens and a trauma-informed lens anytime I'm working with someone. Trauma-informed, I would say the verbiage there is very popular, thankfully. And the aim is to really make, I'd say, most, if not all practices very trauma-informed, even if you're outside of the realm of human services or social services or healthcare, whatever you do. Because it's in my, opinion that human-informed is really what we mean by that. How do we hold room for folks that we're getting to know, meeting, working with, educating, being educated with and from, as I'm receiving, as a student, as I'm learning from other people. So trauma-informed, really the informed, right, informational. And that trauma-informed lens, I think what can happen so successfully when we engage in such practices, we're personalizing the experience. We're not simply providing education to someone and speaking at them, but we are really inviting them into the experience and inviting them to be the expert of themselves in a practice or in a modality in which we come to know them and come to experience with them. I'll give a more concrete example, so hopefully this makes a little more sense to everyone. So as a yoga teacher, for example, something I've so valued and love about trauma-informed and trauma-sensitive yoga specifically is personalization of the practice. So often in a yoga class, and I'm talking specifically for the classes that invite in asana or the physical practice, a teacher will stand at the top of the room, sometimes walk around the space, and start giving cues to people based on the body, right? So it might sound something like this, and maybe this is familiar to you. Take the right arm, lift the right arm high into the sky, reach the right arm as close to the ceiling as possible, and as you're ready, reach the right hand down and invite yourself to reach the right arm to the floor. Reach the right fingers out to the right and go to the edge of your comfort zone, right? So I can't even stay in the language of it too long before it gets a little trippy. And I think I did infuse a little you're in there. Different than, if you like, you're welcome to lift your right arm up towards the space above you. How high is up to you. You might lift your right hand toward your shoulder. You might lift your right hand toward the top of your head, or possibly higher than that. You're welcome to note how this feels in your body. So this isn't going to be a long spiel, but the example I wanted to name is about shifting from this, that, the, to you, your, yours. And why this is important, in my opinion, is we are offering the opportunity for folks that we serve and work with the reminder that they have a body. In a trauma-informed lens, we recognize that trauma, big T, little t, maybe you've heard that verbiage as well, happens to all of us, right? Trauma and traumatic things happen across the board because one of the base definitions for trauma is when someone has reached an inability to cope with something. And so think about your own life, and maybe there have been times when you've felt less of an ability to cope with something, right? That might have felt traumatic. Trauma also can take away, and certainly often more significant or intense experiences can take away from someone power, choice, and control, and often dissociates them from their body, in that their body might have a survival tactic, including dissociation, for example, during an attack physically, that removes their awareness of what's happening in the moment so as to protect themselves while an attack is happening. So in that way, when we come to teach yoga to someone who maybe has had a traumatic experience or experience with trauma, either an acute single event or chronic, I think it can be so valuable to remind the person who's in the room with you, they have a body, they have a right to become aware or develop deeper awareness of their body, and putting this, that, take the neck to your right, take the neck to your left, take the chin up to the sky, take the this, that. It flatlines the whole practice, I believe. It sort of negates that someone is in the room, a human is in the room with you, that you're cueing instructions for. Even if it is a very telling asana practice. There are so many kinds of different asana and yoga, and I'm not here to better any one of those. I just think it would be so interesting if we gave everyone a chance to consider that they know where their left shoulder is, Thinking about your shoulders, inviting your left shoulder toward the back of the room. Oh, it's like we have to then connect our brain to our left side and potentially make that movement. And notice I use with inanimate objects like the wall or the ceiling or the room or that floor, right? This, that, the. I can depersonalize those. They're inanimate objects, at least in the space of this trauma-informed yoga that I'm talking about. So it's a little amusing. I don't know if anyone has any interest in commenting back or providing their own insight to this. I'm open to that, of course. And otherwise, I hope that you have a splendid day wherever you are in the world. And I'll talk to you soon.